Good morning, everyone. My name is Georgette Truan, and I am the co-host for Fight CPS with Miss G. And also, I work for the law office of Vincent Davis. My guest today is Xenia Benders, right?
Henderson.
I can't see the name on. She has it hidden on the
It,
title.
it's Henderson. There you
Henderson.
go.
There we go. Okay. Um. All right, Xenia. So go ahead and let us know about your story and share with the audience what you're going through with CPS.
Okay. Hi, my name is Zane Henderson, and I'm here because I am going through a very hard situation with CPS that has been all illegally done. They made false paperwork. They came into my home when I went to make a report about antifreeze being in my system from the doctor's office.
Mhm,
So when I went to make the report, the police officer stated they wasn't going to come. But
mhm,
about 3:30 in the morning,
mhm.
they gave me a call, and I opened the door, and they drugged me out of my home. They drugged
Wow.
me out of my home and stated that I was being arrested for warrants that I'd already had taken care of. So at that time, my daughter, she was sitting there playing her PlayStation. She was 8 years old at the time. This had been something that has been reported. That before, prior to this, it was social workers being called to my home in the
Mhm.
daytime, and so that's how I found out it was officers making false, um, you know,
Allegation.
allegations.
Mhm.
So when the worker came, I was able to show her videos of these officers watching me and my daughter through our Ring device. And the social
And
worker
they
said,
probably made you look like you're delusional, right?
"Oh yeah," but the thing about it is, the social worker that came back in April never touched my daughter when she popped up. It was like, "Oh, you can do whatever." So it wasn't just one; it was a couple of them who seen it.
Mhm,
So I
mhm,
reported it to the school. I reported it to Cypress. I reported it to the DA. I reported
mhm,
all of these cameras, them watching us, to the highest of the high.
mhm,
And the worker, she never reported it. So once this did happen, they fraudulently arrested me,
mhm.
and I was released like 2 hours later, never to see my daughter again. For
My God.
months, for months. The night that happened, I asked the question, what is my daughter doing? And the officer stated, and I quote, "She's sitting in a house with no clothes on with the officer."
Oh my
So
God.
yes, I quote. Those are his exact words. At that time, I didn't think that they was gonna take me, for something that I can show you the ticket. I have a court date.
Mhm,
My mother, she lived right down the street. So when they asked me did I have anyone to call, I stated no, because at the time me and my family wasn't talking. But when I realized they was gonna take me, I
mhm.
could tell them, like, you know what, I can call my mom. My neighbor came out, would not let her go with anyone, only to find out that they made paperwork and stated that I was in Oakland, California, in jail. The same time, they never gave me a removal warrant. I'd never seen a social worker. I didn't know anything when it came to the case for, I think it was the 11th of June.
Mhm,
They kept telling me I had to go to criminal court.
mhm.
On the 9th of June, I'm sorry, on the 9th of June, I've been calling for, looking for my child, because the worker that I did speak to, she stated, you can come pick her up. I just never heard from them again. They literally stopped answering me. So when I did call, they told me my daughter had been molested and put in a confidential foster home. That's what I get for beating my daughter. I found out that when the officer dropped her off, they stated that they found her on the streets walking. And
My God.
when I got the report, it was completely mind blown,
Mhm.
because it stated that um, I got arrested at 1:30 a.m. My daughter didn't get dropped off into the after hours until 4 o'clock a.m.
Mhm, mhm.
So what was my male officer doing with my child in the home so long? It also stated that I called and said that my daughter had scratch marks and bruises and blood in her hair from trying to resist being removed. And that really bothers me, because I never seen my daughter. But when I did finally see her, almost a month later, she did have the scratches. She had a big bald spot in her hair.
Mhm,
When I got home, you can tell it was a struggle. You
mhm.
can tell it was a struggle. My PlayStation came up missing. My daughter's nails was in the couch. You can tell
Oh my God. Mm,
they was forcefully removing her. Her nails was in the couch. The couch was picked up. So I'm going, to everyone that you can think of. They kept my daughter. They told me that she was deceased. They told me she was in the hospital. They continued to hang up on me. So when they told me that my daughter was deceased, it was June 14th, and I called and tried to make a police report about that. They came to my house and arrested me
But
again.
how old was your daughter again when they did this?
Wait, this just happened. I'm still fighting this. She's 8 years old.
She's 8 years old.
8 years old.
Uh, because Christina said they need probable cause to arrest her. She's 8 years old.
Yep, 8 years
I mean,
old.
what probable cause can there possibly be for an 8 year old?
They didn't have any. That was the thing. Me and
No.
my daughter, we was actually, because we've been going through this with this police department for so long. Like I stated, everything I try to tell people, anything that I'm going to state today,
Mhm.
I have solid facts and proof. So there's nothing that I'm stating that I cannot prove. This went as far as they sent the police out to see the cameras, the videos,
Mhm.
and but the school district, no one did anything about it. They knew that they seen. I showed them videos of people watching me and my daughter. They put it as if it was pre-recorded as I'm watching outside on my ring device, but really they're watching the inside of us. And I should have to show it to the worker. And when she's seen it, you thinking, because you've been going through this, not at first not knowing who it was. The worker was the one who confirmed it was officers. So you would think that you would get some type of help, but I
Hmm.
only got it got worse for me.
Yeah.
It got worse. And,
You
and
think. But see, but again, okay. So this is really sad.
it's a very sad
Very,
situation.
very, very sad situation. We're not supposed to mention any names. Remember that. No
Right,
judges' names, no social
right.
worker names. Not that I care about them really, but they're scumbags to me. But in your last hearing, what happened?
So I said, oh, before I get there, I want to explain this to you.
Mhm,
The morning of June 8th, that I was supposed to be arrested,
mhm,
when the social worker called and asked for, because they tried to say that I made excessive phone calls.
mhm.
So when the worker called to try to get the calls to my home, they let her know that there was never no calls, no officers ever came to my home. They had no calls coming to my home at all since I think 2020 or something like that. But they they came to my home and drugged me out my home. Um, so the last thing, I didn't go to court in June,
Mhm.
and they held her. I started getting a lot of different paperwork, certified paperwork from the court, but my zip code would be scratched out, or my address is scratched out, and so they was trying to make me miss my court date. I go to court on the 2nd of July, and I'm speaking with the attorney, and I'm asking, like, what do I do? I don't even know what the allegations are. Like, I'm literally confused. Um, so when I go on the 2nd, they set trial, and that was for August 18th. The judge, when I seen her, she was just like, she asked this one question, where's the child? And
Mhm,
so, of course, I stated, you removed her. She
mhm.
said, I never removed your child. So I looked at my attorney, and my child's been gone since June.
Oh my
No,
God. So they're making you look delusional and crazy and on
yeah,
drugs,
yes,
pretty much.
everything you can think of. So we
Wow.
go to court. We go to trial August 18th.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when I go to trial, me and her dad, we testify.
Mm-hmm.
Um, my daughter is a very smart little girl. She's been in elective classes since she was in kindergarten. So they end up putting her in sixth grade because of her, how smart she is.
Mm-hmm.
So we testified to that. The judge states that she cannot say that I'm on drugs because no worker has ever been to my home, never seen me, never talked to me.
And they never, even if they do, they're still gonna say you're on drugs. You
That's what
don't
they
need
tried to state.
yeah.
That's exactly what they tried to
Yeah.
state. Then they tried to state that I've been in my place over 10 years. So they said that I have beer cans in my backyard. I collect cans. I mean, who can't have cans? So the last thing the judge said was, have a mental evaluation, come back on the 17th of February. And so I
A
was very
February of what year?
of 2021. I mean, sorry,
Oh,
2022. So
wow.
next year. So I run out the courtroom because I'm thinking like you've taken my child. However, the judge stated you can go get your child, and I would like to see both you guys here. The workers to assess the home. Well, someone took it upon themselves to change all of the court paperwork,
Oh, they do
and
that. Yeah.
we changed
Yeah.
the paperwork. And I wanted to touch this situation because I was watching one of your segments and how
Mm-hmm.
you were stating that you cannot record how they state you can record the workers. Well, my daughter's first worker, she quit because I told her, because she told me, well, they vacated the hearing on the 18th and
Mm-hmm.
filed a new petition the day before.
Mm-hmm.
So I told her, oh, I have you on recording stating that you guys vacated the hearing that I testified at and filed a new petition because now, instead of it being 6 months from June to December, which
Mm-hmm.
that was supposed to be the first paperwork, they made it from August to February.
February.
So when I caught her, I called, I found out she quit. But now there's no, they filed the new petition. They will not give me my nights and weekends with her. They won't answer the phones. They won't. I get calls from people pretending to be like the umbug workers. They
Mm-hmm.
stated that they tried to change the information and stated that my daughter didn't have any family. My daughter is now with a cousin, but on the last petition, they stated that my daughter was still in the confidential foster home of the people that she was with before. Um, there's
They
no,
always say, Zinea, that they always say there's no family. Always.
yeah, yes, and it's
First
really
thing.
disgusting. It's
Mm-hmm.
really disgusting. My mom was a caretaker for my son back in
Yep.
2015, so they tried to state that my mom had elderly abuse. So I went and got the paperwork to show like there's no way possible because she couldn't be a caretaker. But you want to know something, Miss Georgette? Just doing all this looking, I found out that they did the same thing to my son back in 2015. They have been putting on the court paperwork. It's the same county council lady. I have information that states that my son was returned home on June 5th of 2018, but someone filed a petition on June 7th and said that he was still in foster care.
Oh my.
And
Why
and
am
I
I surprised? I shouldn't be
yeah,
surprised.
and come to find out he's been put in the system up under. It's either the person has to be a judge or a police
Mhm.
officer and up under their child's
Mhm.
information and their children's cases. So they've been taking my son, sorry, since 2015 and stating that he had to go to placement for a juvenile from hurting a person and come to find out it wasn't even him. My son is in
Yeah.
jail right now due to the fact that under one of their children's
Mhm.
information, but the young man is older than my son. So they switched the paperwork. And this
Oh,
is all provable. This is court papers coming from court that I'm looking at like, wait a minute. If he
what
was,
county is this in?
I'm in San Bernardino County.
Hmm.
I'm in San Bernardino County. I'm in San Bernardino County. My daughter is just to this day, because I've found out so much information and certain things that I was reporting that I'm choosing just not to speak of because of the way it went. But it's not just a CPS. It's police officers.
Yeah.
It's sheriffs. It's judges, and this is provable. When
No, they're all corrupt.
they're all corrupt.
However, I shouldn't say however, some police officers are corrupt, but all social workers are effed up in
Yes,
that
they
way.
are. Yes,
Okay?
they are.
All of them. There's not one, I kid you not, not one social worker is legit. Not one.
Not one.
Not one.
Not
Okay?
one.
There's no one in the name of God that can tell me there's one decent one. Nope.
I haven't came across one. And
Nope.
it's crazy because you have the social workers, I get into it with them all the time. And
Mhm.
it's not so much as me trying to,
But you
you
can't
know,
get into it with them, baby. Listen to me. You can't. You can't go tit for tat with them. You can't debate with them. You can't do this. What I recommend everybody, were you watching my show when I read the law
yeah,
amended?
yeah,
Okay. That's very important. Very, very important. I want to, for the people that haven't heard it, um, Zinaya, I would like to read it for them real quick. Is that okay?
okay,
And then I'm going to talk to you after that.
okay,
Okay, that's the law, the California Legislative Information Law, okay, for social workers. Whew, God, I hate them. A parent or legal guardian may make a video or audio recording of his or her interview or interaction with a county child protective services social worker who is investigating allegations of parental abuse and or neglect. The legislator finds and declares that nothing is in existing law prevent a parent or legal guardian from making a video or audio recording of his or her interview or interaction with a county's child protective service social worker. A county child protective service social worker participation in an investigation of parental abuse or neglect shall be deemed consent. Remember that, people, they consent to
yep,
video or audio recording pursuant to subdivision A. Again, social workers consent to video or audio recording pursuant to subdivision A. A county child protective services social worker assigned to a role performing duties that include assuming the custody of children or conducting interviews of a child or his or her parent in order to investigate allegations of parental abuse or neglect shall provide notification to a parent or a legal guardian undergoing investigation of parental abuse or neglect in writing that the parent or legal guardian may make a video or audio recording of his or her interview or interaction with a county child protective services social worker. A lot of people might not have watched my shows, but this is very important for you guys to understand. The
okay,
day they sign to be social workers, it's the day they consent
yep,
that they can be recorded and audio recorded, video recorded, audio recorded.
and
I
then,
was when I read this, I was like, I literally I read it over and over and over again, and I said, wait a minute, all these years, I'm thinking you can't record a social worker,
yep,
but you can't by law. You can't in California law. You can't record like me and you,
right,
Zinea. Say
yeah,
you and I are talking on the phone, and you and I are friends or sisters or cousins, whatever, and then I record you without your consent.
yeah,
You have the right, right? You have the right to pursue me for doing that because I did not get your consent.
right,
However, if you're a social worker, you already signed your consent the day you became a social worker, you beast, you pieces of crap. That's the day you consent. But yet they tell people because they don't want to get caught. See, the reason they don't want to get caught is because they lie.
yes,
And when they lie, they're getting instructions from the supervisor to lie
yes,
also. So when
yes.
people say, I'm going to call your supervisor, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, you're
They don't
literally
care.
calling the headhunter.
Yep, that's
What are you
it.
doing?
That's
You're
it.
literally calling the headhunter for this. You're not calling the supervisor for help.
The ones
Nobody's
who
going to help you there.
the
Right.
ones who's instructing them. And
Right.
it's very this is a very hurtful situation, because when I stated that I get into it with them, not as in like kind of arguing with them, but
Yeah.
what I do is I let them know that I know the law. I know, like I take them the paperwork.
Right.
It's the saddest thing about this. When this first took place, I went to the main office, and
Mm-hmm.
when I walked into the main office, the head of the secretary, she went to the back, she pulled it up, and she stated out of her own mouth, and I quote, she said, the case that they had against you never went to court. I don't see no judge ever removing your daughter. And so you would think right then and there that it would have been time for her to, because I showed her paperwork,
Mm-hmm.
minute orders that they made, and stating that, hey, wait a minute, this says that I was in court. They stated that I showed up in court on June 11th and left prior to being the case being heard, but I didn't have city council. So when they started sending me the paperwork stating I was in Oakland, California, when they said I was in Oakland, California, that's why they didn't send me a removal warrant. So I start giving them like, well, how can I be in Oakland and in
When
court
you're,
here at all at the same time on the
is that
same
in the
paper?
minute order?
No, well, no, on the minute order. So the minute order in June, it states that the mother was present in court but left prior to the case being heard. And
Mm-hmm.
so the paperwork that they sent stating that I got arrested in Oakland, California, that's why they never gave me a removal warrant. The
Wow.
It's the same exact dates. So like I took to
Oh
them,
my
is how
God.
can I be in jail in Oakland, and here's the court paperwork stating that I got released in Oakland on the 11th of June. So how did
Mm-hmm.
I get all the way to San Bernardino? How did you get to Oakland to get my daughter and bring her back?
Mm-hmm.
So at that time, that's when I started saying, you know what, I'm just gonna record. And like I let them know I can't get in trouble for recording fraudulent people. I
Mm-hmm.
can't get in trouble for it. And so they won't get on the phone and talk to me. The worker, she quit. And I don't blame her, because she knew, they all know.
Gordy, let me interrupt you for a second. People always tell me the workers quit, the worker quit. You're not the only one that the worker quit on.
Right.
Not 100% of all our people, their workers, some workers quit on them.
Yeah.
Actually, most workers quit on them because what they do, the supervisor, that's how the process goes, okay? The supervisor tells the worker, you have to lie.
Yep.
You have to say this. You have to do this. Now, if you get a corrupt worker, of course she's going to do it to get the promotion. Some workers, they're like, nah, I'm not going to do it. So they quit. But oftentimes they don't really quit. They tell you they quit, but they didn't quit. What they do is they send them to another department.
You know what I found out?
Yeah. Please
Most
tell me I'm right.
Yes,
Because
but I also found out that most of the workers that I've been calling for and looking for, they don't even work there.
I know.
They don't work there at all. They're
I
not
know.
even, they're like the first worker that came in April,
Yeah.
the one that never touched us. So I
Hmm.
kept going, all you got to have to do is get the paperwork from her. Get it. You can see that every time she came to my home, I let her in, no problem. Couldn't find out who she is, didn't know who she was. It's really, really crazy, because I start picking up that when you call, the workers don't answer, they call you back. You understand what I'm saying? Or they'll tell you they'll place you on a hold. So I start thinking, like, is everyone in San Bernardino, do they all have the same hold music? The attorneys have the same hold music as the bank. Like, it's very, it's sickening. And with my case, because I've came across so much, I think it was the 16th of August, I took paperwork to the head manager and showed him everything, like literally everything. And no lie, the next, my phones have been completely tapped. I
Oh,
got,
yes.
yeah.
Wait, hold that thought. Oh, my Jesus. I'm so glad. I was going to bring that up
Yeah.
after you speak, but I'm going to interrupt you again. One of our now clients, she wasn't our client before. She was at the Monterey Park courthouse. I
Okay.
can't say the name of the social worker that said that, but I know her very well. And the client, the at the time she wasn't a client, okay? At the time. So she called me from the courthouse. She was in the hallway. And the
Mm,
hallway was where the restroom was. So what happened was the social worker was in the restroom, but the client was outside the restroom. She explained to me what happened later. She called me. She said, Georgette, it doesn't look good. I do believe I need to hire the law office of Vincent Davis. Right?
okay.
We started talking, exchanging information. She said, the social worker, however, is talking to me right now, so let me put you on hold. But she didn't really put me on hold. She didn't hold me, but I heard everything basically.
Right.
Wanting me to hear everything. So the social worker was telling her, I just want to advise you that if you hire, the law office of Vincent Davis, I would make sure you don't get your child back.
Oh,
Yeah, she overheard.
yeah.
So she told her, you can't tell me that. That's against the law. And the social worker told her, trust me, I will destroy your case to the point where you will never, ever get your child back.
Yes.
She said that to me. Now, our calls are recorded. Okay. Our calls are recorded in the office. So
Yeah.
I didn't have to record crap.
Right.
It's already done.
Right.
So the so when the social worker left, the client told me she was talking to me. She was in tears, shiver. She was scared. I can hear
Yeah.
her shaking. Voice is shaking. And she said, Georgette, I'm scared. What do I do? I said to her, I actually want to meet you. I want the last minute order on your case and I want to send it to Mr. Davis. And I literally went to the office that day and I showed Mr. Davis the document and I told him what happened. See, social workers, they feel they have power,
Yes.
which, well, in
Yeah.
reality, because it's given to them.
Yeah.
But when you're given that much power, more power than a police officer, more power than a sheriff, then something is wrong with society.
Something is very wrong. And
Okay? Because those depleted idiots, they're stupid on so many, they're just
different levels.
stupid. They're stupid. And what did I say before, Zinnia, on my shows? The
Okay.
definition of stupid is what? Seeing
Stupid.
evidence,
Yep.
hearing the truth, but yet still believe a lie.
Believe the lie.
Yeah. So judges believe the lies of the social workers. Social workers have that much power over judges,
Of the
believe it or
judge.
not. They actually have more power than a judge.
They
I
do.
kid you not, a judge would place an order for a child to go home.
Yes.
The social worker would not do what the judge told her to do.
That's how it
That
is with me
blows my
now.
freaking mind.
That's how it is now. I was
Yeah,
able to go to
yeah,
one placement place, and they all. I mean, the sad part about it is everyone that I've spoke to have all said, "Well, we don't see no judge ever moving your daughter." So I take them the paperwork. They said these are just minute orders.
yeah,
This isn't filed. This isn't
yeah.
sufficient enough to hold your daughter. So there's no judge signature. There's no stamp there. So the one head placement guy, he said, ma'am, this is just a minute order stating what happened in court.
Yep.
There's nothing. But then no one is going, listen, we need to, give her child back to her. No one's ever seen her. No judge ever took her. But what I found out is that the TAD office, now this is what people don't know. A lot of these workers, a lot, and I found this out because I start getting fake paperwork from child support.
Oh my
So
gosh.
the child support lady, she said, ma'am, a TAD office worker who's a homeless worker, she has been reporting your daughter in foster care since April. Since April. I'm going, well, no, my child been with me. So I found out not only did they do it to my son, they did it to my daughter. My daughter started receiving SSI. So they start getting my daughter's SSI.
That's
This is all
see,
this
they're
is
all together,
all
Zinnia.
together. There's
Yeah,
no it's as if It's
They
no
plan it.
win, right? And I just was
Mhm.
reading a comment. The young lady said she thought she heard clicking. What people need to understand, what took me phones after phones after phones after phones, um, when you hear the echo, you're talking to someone, you hear
Mhm.
the echo in the background. That's because someone's listening to you. I found out half of the time that I'm calling out, I'm not even talking to real people. These people have spooked the FBI line. They've
Mhm.
spooked. I was very surprised to even get a call back from you
Mhm.
because every phone that I
It
have,
was hard to get a hold of you, Zinea.
yeah,
Remember
because
I told you to check your phone because something
yep,
is wrong.
yep,
And
you can't do it. They shut it off. They
no,
link it.
people don't get it, baby. I
Yep.
have another client. She also wasn't a client then, but she was at her mom's house.
Yes.
Her mom was talking to me on the phone about her daughter's case. She
Hmm.
said, my daughter's here, but she's on the phone with the social worker. So her mom told her, so like put him on speaker, put him on
Right.
speaker.
Right.
She had me listen. He told her daughter, and I heard everything. He told her daughter that I don't appreciate you telling your mom I was an asshole. And I'm quoting him. He said, I don't appreciate you telling your mom that I'm an asshole. She said, how did you know that?
Hmm.
He said, I read everything you sent to your mom.
Yes.
So
Yes. It's the
basically,
app.
they need, see, I didn't know this before. So what
Yes.
they do is they tap into your phone.
Yes.
People don't get this. That's why oftentimes I say, call me from a number that they don't have. That's why they
Just the
ask you
app.
for everything. They ask you for phone number, they ask you for address, they ask you for relatives. Why? Because they
They
want to
tap
monitor the
everyone's
home.
phone.
No, they want to monitor the home. They want to set them up
Everything.
to fail. They want to write down your phone number wrong and then say that they called you and they never called you. Um, but yet it's somebody else's phone number on the damn report. You're
Yeah.
like, what the hell is this? But me, I'm just always protect yourself. Always have two numbers. I'm serious. I'm
You know
not
what?
lying to you. Our
I've
state is
had
so corrupt. It's not a joke. It's very
I've had
corrupt.
over three. It's the app that they put on the phone. The first worker that came to my home, right?
Yeah.
When she came to my home back in April, it was really funny because I was in a car accident that I found out was fraudulently done by
Mm-hmm.
them.
Mm-hmm.
And I had just told the lawyer before I terminated him, I said, I don't have no money, this, that, and the other, but I'm talking to my lawyer at this
Mm-hmm.
time until I
Mm-hmm.
fired him. Well, Lord behold, when I realized that he was a fraudulent attorney, the worker showed up to my home, and I tell you, Georgette, verbatim, she repeated everything that I just told the attorney.
See,
She repeated
see.
everything that I told her. So I started saying,
Oh
wait a
my
minute.
Jesus. Oh
That's
my.
when I realized something isn't right. So I said, but how would you know? She said, the person that reported you said XYZ, said
Mm-hmm.
your house was a mess. And so the last thing she kept saying, would you drug test? Would you drug test? I said, yes, but why do you keep pushing for a drug test? She said, because the person that reported you said they seen, now listen to the words, they seen me stick my head in a black car window and put something in my pocket. Well, that means that you're watching me. So then
Exactly.
when she come back
Nobody's gonna
to
just take their head.
nobody's just gonna sit
Yeah.
right. So when
Come on,
she
give
came
me a
back to
break. It's so
when she
stupid.
came back the next time and confirmed that it was officers, I felt so violated because if you know that these people is watching me because you repeated now I stated this to you. How did you know what I just said to this attorney that I just fired, knowing once I found out he was fraudulent? There's no way possible unless you're listening on the phone with them or
Mhm.
you have something in my home. So when she said, well, I can't give you now, I said, you don't need to give me the name. How
Mhm.
did you repeat verbatim what they
Right.
said to me? And
Mhm.
how is it that a person see me stick my head, but
Yep.
you know these are officers, but you didn't report it? So me showing you the video confirm that these people has been watching me and my daughter in our home naked. And she knew this. She brought it to me. So what I found out is it says something like it's the county phones. It's the county that is literally tapping our phones. And that's what people need to understand.
Thank you. Okay, now let me take just let me say a few more things, okay?
Hmm.
When you guys for example, if you're going through hardship, right? Now
Yeah.
the government started this DPSS and food stamps and all that, right? As soon as you get in the system, DPSS, most of you, I don't know what you call it in other states, but you know what I'm talking about,
Yeah.
Zinea, right?
Yes.
Once you put yourself in the system, you're a target.
Yep. That's it.
What the reason the government phone came out and people say Obama, 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 I have no disrespect to Obama. However, the government phone is to tap you, to
Yep.
know where you are, what you're doing, what you're saying. People don't get this. They say, oh, they helped us. Obama's helping us, or the government is helping us. No, they're not. No, they are
Mhm.
not. When they make things accessible like this, there's motives behind every demonic idiot's actions.
Yep.
And all government officials are demonic and stupid and idiotic on so many levels.
Narcissist.
Because what they do, they use the public. They use us.
Yes,
We
they
are
do.
their guinea pigs, right? So all these people collecting food stamps and WIC and all this stuff, they become a target. WIC is for infants,
Yep.
okay? Food stamps is for adults and minor children. All this stuff. So you become a number,
Right.
case
That's
number.
exactly.
That case number is in the registry. Social workers oftentimes say, "Oh, we got an anonymous report." No, you didn't, you piece of shit. You just went and picked how long this mother has been in DPSS collecting food stamps and cash aid,
Yep.
and how many kids she has, and where does she live. All that. And
Yeah.
I didn't know until somebody from the PICO office of DPSS, I can't say his name, but he and I went to school together.
Okay.
When he took over last year or a year and a half ago, he broke it down to me. They actually have social workers going there,
Yeah.
talking to case managers. Yeah. So he told me what they're doing behind closed doors.
Behind the closed
And
doors.
I said to him, I said, report this shit. He said, it's bigger than me and you, Georgette.
And that's true.
Yeah.
But
He
when
said, it's
you,
bigger than me and you. People, be careful. Be
be careful,
careful. If you can go and eat and feed your kids without the state's help,
leave them
do
alone.
it.
Yeah.
This $200, $300, it's
Not worth it.
useless because this is dirty money.
Yep.
They're literally giving the people dirty money because their intention in their freaking head is demonic. Demonic.
They have me
Simple.
on
That's all
county.
I'm saying.
They
Huh?
have me on county. And
Yeah.
just to piggyback off what you're saying, they have me on county. And like I state, there's nothing that I'm stating that I cannot prove. I'm getting paperwork showing that someone else, this is where all of this started from, because I found out someone else was, they had someone on county in my
Yeah.
name
Yeah.
and collecting, the food stamps, and they telling me
Yeah.
that I'm off. And the day that they supposedly have removed my daughter, I get paperwork from the county, but it dated that same exact day, June 11th, that I'm no longer going to get cash aid because my daughter was removed. So of course I take it to the county. How can you? How did you? How did you stop the case the same exact date that she was supposed to be removed? We hadn't even, did finish court yet.
Right.
That's just how you know it's all, it's
Connected.
strictly, it's all connected, and
Yeah.
it feels like being trapped, especially
That's
when
what it is, baby. It's all about a trap.
it's
It's all
trapped.
about a trap. You know what's sad? Um, okay. It's I can't mention politics on air. People would, some people might be offended. But anyways, a certain president said, that DPSS is not really help for the public. That
It's not.
it's better for the person to go look for a job and really not deal with DPSS and all this because it's a trap. But
It's a
some
trap.
people thought it was, all cahoots,
And
what he was saying. But neither here or there. But anyways, it's very dangerous. They find you. They know where you are. Be careful. That's all I'm saying. Is not easy access to DPSS, but they target certain people. If you're a
They do.
senior citizen, they're not going to target you, obviously, because you're a senior citizen. You know, in their mind, you're done. Your history. You're fried.
Right.
You know, if you're a mother, that's who they target. That's why a lot of WIC women who go to WIC to get formula and stuff to help them with the baby, especially in the pandemic. A lot of
Yes.
women,
Yes.
if you guys realize, a lot of babies have been removed during the pandemic because they go get WIC and then they target them. They actually take kids from good moms, no drugs, no this, no that,
Exactly.
but they go to the hospital, right? And
Yes.
they target. There's nurses who have cousins who are social workers or family members who are social workers, and they report to them. It's an inside job.
It's a complete
Bottom
inside
line
job.
is, it's an inside job. If you look
Completely.
at a nurse with rolling your eyes, guess what? She's gonna report you to Child Protective Services.
Yep.
I'm
The
being honest. If you don't
it's
agree with
true.
a nurse, yeah, she would actually do it maliciously and report you to Child Protective Services. Those MFs, okay, you guys know what an MF is. I can't say it, but you know what I mean, right?
Yep.
MF.
Yes, I do.
Those MFs, right? They choose
All together.
profession like I know. They
All
choose
together.
profession like this to gain the power to do what they want.
Yes, they do.
People don't understand. Some people say, "Oh no, a firefighter became a firefighter because he's a hero." No, MFs, they're not. They become firefighters because they love women and they want to attract women to them, and they know women love firefighters. Okay,
Power.
or power, and they have the power. Officers, a firefighter can commit a crime. A police officer is not going to arrest the firefighter because they are working together. They're
Together.
connected together. They're boys.
Yep.
They're boys. They call them boys. That's my boy. That's my boy. That's my boy. Okay. Same thing with nurses. Same thing with doctors. So you guys have to understand that the power and control that they have is the title that they carry.
Yep.
So it's very important for you guys to understand this. Not because a police officer is to serve and protect. They're not all of them to serve and protect. But I'm not saying they're all bad either, because there are some good cops out there. There
True.
really are. However, there's mostly bad cops. I
Yes,
can't
it is.
explain it to you guys, but mm, you know,
Majority.
yeah,
Majority. And even you saying that about the nurses, when I got
yeah,
start getting paperwork, right? When they told me my daughter was in the hospital, my daughter was deceased. So I get paperwork and it comes from the SSI, which was fraudulent. But the hospital allowed them to take my daughter. I found out my daughter was in the hospital while she was in June, the night that she got taken. But the hospital didn't have a right to see my daughter without my consent. Without
right.
they didn't have they that was completely against the law. So when I went to them, they told me, oh, we don't have anything to do with it. No, you have a lot to do with it because you didn't have any paperwork to show that these people had custody over my child. I found out they changed their insurance. So that's insurance fraud. It's all linked together. The hospitals, it's just really sad to know that the people that you go to try to protect you or help
Mhm,
you are the ones that's really plotting working against you. I went in there and I reported the certain things that happened to me,
mhm,
and instead of them reporting it, they tried to put me in 5150,
mhm.
and they ran tests on me that I didn't even know that they ran. They told me that my potassium was low to the point where I had a mild heart attack, but they never ran my potassium again. So they loaded me with potassium. I could have died.
I
I
know.
could have died, but
I
they
know.
didn't care because it would have just looked like I had a heart attack
Or you committed suicide.
or I committed
Yeah.
suicide. But because I reported things that officers did to me and to my daughter. And so since it's been reported, my life has been a living hell. And I'm afraid, but I just been praying like really hard because this situation, we couldn't cover it in an hour. Man, you have spoke and I've told you
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
And it's not something that Sorry about this, but
No, it's okay, baby.
hard when you're fighting it by yourself. Your
Mm-hmm.
whole family is looking at you. You don't know what you really don't even know what these people was talking about. You didn't do it. It's proven to the whole county that it was cameras in your home. My neighbor was the one who let me know, and me and her got into it first. And I thought she did it and go to CPS one day and
Mm-hmm.
took her kids. Remember, I was
Mm-hmm.
telling you that. So it's a lot of us that is feeling by ourselves because
Right.
we know we didn't do anything wrong, but
Right.
who can you go to when these phones is tapped and you're trying to call a lawyer and they're stopping your money? You can't like it's hard, and I know what they're
They
getting ready
do.
to do.
They tap. They tap. Um, you and
Sorry
I
about
spoke
that,
for a
guys.
while. No,
Sorry.
don't ever be sorry. No, 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 no. If you're okay, you're good. Um, they choose families who they target, babe.
Yes,
They
they
will
do.
expose you way before you even
Before you even know
see
it,
them.
yes.
And they turn families against each other. That's very
Yep,
important for you guys to understand. And I wish to God you guys, your family watches my shows as well, because it's very important for them to hear this. They turn family against each other. They turn family against each other. They want your family to think you are wrong,
yep,
so that way you get no help from your family. So you're
exactly.
standing alone. That's like they get to your psyche. So how
Yeah,
do they get to your psyche? They want you to fall. They want you
yep.
to break. They want to see you break.
They
I
want
kid
to.
you not. They
Yes,
laugh
they
and
do.
smile and they make bets to see you break.
That is
You
so
guys
true.
don't understand that when I speak to you, I'm speaking from knowledge of how the system works. I'm not an attorney, but there's knowledge on how the system works.
Yep, that's what they want us to do.
It's very important for you guys to understand. Please pay attention. Please do not turn against your family. Oftentimes they tell you that it's your family member reporting. Nah, it's not a family member. Then the mother's thinking, oh, I had a fight with my sister last year. Could it be her? Oh my God, it's my sister. Then she fights with her sister. Now she lost her sister. She lost her brother-in-law, right? Then she's losing family members slowly.
Slowly.
Oftentimes, it's not a family member making the report. Often is more than some. You understand me?
Yes. Yes.
Oftentimes, they're the ones who target certain homes, certain people, and say a family member made a report. Oftentimes, a social worker makes the report,
Make the report.
and the social worker says she's anonymous. What the hell is anonymous? See,
Right.
to me, it's like you piece of shit's cowards. If you want to make a report because you're concerned about a child,
Right.
you can give your name, you piece of shits. Give
Yeah.
your name,
You
right?
have to read your report.
Unless you are a liar and a deceiver, because only a coward would hide who they are.
Right. Exactly.
Okay?
Exactly.
So if you really are concerned, give your damn name.
That's exactly how I feel.
And that's why the system's like, oh, it's anonymous, it's anonymous. No, it's anonymous because it's helping the system make money. It's anonymous because they don't want to be caught and they want to let people think that other people made report.
Other
If
people's
another
did.
person made a report, how in the name of God are you going to take another person's report thinking they're accurate, right? And they
Right.
go to children. You guys are stupid. Social workers are as dumb as
The
they're the dumbest shit on the face of the earth, and judges are so stupid to allow them
to do it.
to do it. You know why? To allow them to oh my God, they actually believe what the social worker writes. That blows my mind. A
It's
normal
mind blowing.
educated judge should never believe what the social worker writes without evidence. And that's why they don't want you guys to record those sons of you
But you
know
know what? What I found out is that you have to get your report and read the reports because it was really crazy that in my report, a lot of and this is how a lot of people can tell that they're listening. So a
yeah,
lot of things and conversations that
yeah,
I've had, it's inside of the report,
Yep.
but
Mhm,
how would you know? So the one thing that they put in there, now mind you, when this took place with me, I called to make a report about myself because the hospital found antifreeze in my system. And I knew that these people had been coming into my home. I knew this. So when I called to make a report about myself, so that way I can have it to, if anything ever go
yeah.
wrong, to back
Yeah.
it up.
Mhm.
The report states, now, and I quote, the suspect reported to the victim. The suspect
Wow.
reported to the victim that the police department put antifreeze in her drink. So the only
Wow.
person that I had this conversation with is one of my exes inside of my home, inside of the comfort of my own home, not on the phone. I told my son's, I think, ex girlfriend. I said something ain't right. I think they, been putting stuff in here. They had to. It was
Mhm,
already in my Google. It
mhm.
was in my Google. Do Fireball. I drink fire, used to drink Fireball. Do Fireball contain antifreeze? It was already in my Google system. So
Mhm,
why would that be there? So that's what made me realize, wait a minute, something isn't right because I started getting sick. So
mhm.
people, we have to read. You have to get your report, read your reports, and see how contradicting the reports are. And
People don't want to
know,
read it though, Zinaya, because when they read it, they get into a panic mode. They actually don't want to read the lies because they know they're lying. They don't
yeah,
want to read the lie because they don't want to break more. So
yes.
people, a mother is still grieving. A mother is still grieving, and then she reads all this crazy lies. Oh
It's
my God, they
hard.
laugh at people. Like Rosalinda said, they laughed when they took my
Yeah,
baby newborn son from the
from the
hospital, from
hospital.
me at the hospital. I have this on video. They laugh babies. They
Yes.
laugh. They laugh stealing kids. They laugh when a mother is crying. They laugh in court with the judges.
Yep.
They actually
They
see
laugh.
this in a freaking game, and
Yep.
they get funded for having children who
Wow.
go from a good home. They get funded, but yet, the real victims, the
It's
real abusers,
something.
have their own kids.
Yep.
That's the saddest
That's
shit
sad. Yes, it
that
is.
I have to say to you guys. The real victims are not being helped because social workers don't want damaged goods.
Right. I listened to him laugh at me yesterday. I listened to it all the time. I listened to it. I listened to them laugh at me all the time. And it's it's uh it's very frustrating. The thing that I'm worried about is that I won't get my child back. Where they stated for the 31st of
Mm-hmm,
December, but then
mm-hmm.
they pushed it back until I don't go back to court until the 17th of February. So I think they're going to try to adopt her out, because we know too much. My daughter, when I say my daughter, the report, my daughter rocked the report and told them this is how sick it is. She told them that the person that came to our home was the person who hit us in a car, was a officer. She told them that, let's say, he's the same person that came to my home. She
Yeah.
told them that this is the same man that was on the plane with us. This is
And
all in the
kids still
report.
lie.
Yep.
Kids still lie.
Yeah.
Kids still lie about stuff like this.
Yeah.
But
They
yeah,
and they don't.
yeah, yeah.
They know it though. That's what I'm saying. So this has been they they watched me, they stalked me. And like I stated, it started with my son, and I'm a mail hoarder. So I just had a lot of different things, and I'm pulling it up and I'm going, wow, the same city council or county council person that made false allegations about my son is the same person that's on here with my daughter. So I'm
Yep.
trying to get in contact with this person. Nobody know who this person is.
Mhm, mhm.
It's a very it's mind blowing. It's the
It is.
most. My daughter's 9 years old, never been without me. Never. She'll go play, but she won't spend a night. They have taken both. Me and my son used to have the perfect relationship, but they've been locking him up and putting him in placement, and so now our relationship is
Destroyed.
no longer is
Yeah,
destroyed.
yeah. But your
It's
son didn't do anything.
nothing,
I kid
nothing,
you not. I don't even have to be there to know your son didn't do anything.
nothing.
People don't understand. They want to make these kids, these foster kids, into criminals.
Yep.
Because once they're in jail, they get funding in jail
They get
too.
thrown in jail too.
For the love of God, people don't understand this. Innocent people. Innocent people all hurt, all because of money.
All because of money. I have the paperwork to show
Yeah.
that they stated they were stopping his because he used to receive, SSI. So we're stopping this. So the paperwork that I was just stating that it stated the probation put he was returned home June 5th, but then a worker said he was still in placement on June 7th. So I get paperwork that comes June 11th of
Hmm.
2018, the same date that my daughter was, supposed to be taken. It states that we decided that probation is to still collect his SSI payments.
Yes, they do. Hmm.
Yep. And so if they told me
But
that he was
people
off,
didn't know that.
yeah, that's what I'm telling
People
you.
don't know that.
I
Yeah.
have so much. I got suitcases that
I
full of
believe you.
paperwork, and it is it's a sad situation when you feel like you're supposed to be able to go to your government or go to them for help, but you
Hmm.
can't because
Yeah.
they're completely they're the ones that's setting it up, it's this county that's doing it. Where do you go? I try to go to LA County, but hey, we can't do anything about it because it's happening there. Where do you go? How do you protect your kids? How do you protect your kids from the people that's trying to take your kids, stating that you can't protect them, but they're the only ones that's hurting your children.
Yeah.
They're the ones that's breaking up these homes and destroying families. Like,
But they
not
love it. You
they
have to
love it,
understand. Did
and they
you watch
think it's
my show?
funny.
Yeah. Did you watch my show when I said my goddaughter? She calls me auntie, so I call her niecey. Okay. She went to apply for the Vermont office, the Department of Child Services. Okay, that
Hmm.
was like a year ago or a year and a half ago, and she graduated from UCLA. Okay. She
Okay.
said, Auntie, I'm going to make a difference. I said, great, make a difference. That's great. When she mentioned she wants to work for the Department of Child Services, I said, no. Her
No,
mom is like, no, let her go, blah, blah,
no,
blah,
no.
blah. I said, no, please don't. She said, Auntie, I have an interview next week. I said, okay, go. Fine, go. I said, but you're no longer my goddaughter.
I didn't
I
see that
literally
one.
told her, if you get into that field, you're no longer
Yeah,
my goddaughter. She almost cried. I said, I'm just playing with you, baby girl. I always love you, but I just don't want you to be corrupt.
right.
So she said, let me go for the interview, Auntie, and see how it goes. They gave her a psychiatric evaluation. The test came back um, as she's 92 or 94% or 95% compassionate, right?
Okay.
So when the supervisor said, I'm not going to hire you, right? I'm not going to hire you because you're compassionate. So my niece is like, what do you mean?
Right.
What do you mean? She said, well, if you're compassionate, it means that you're not gonna you're gonna be compassionate towards the kids
Yeah.
you need to be removing. So my niece said, wait a minute now, I, I don't get it. Do you have to be a sociopathic or a narcissist to get this job?
Exactly. You do.
And she said the supervisor smiled, tilted her head and said, you could say that.
Sickening.
Now that point on, I realized when she told me in tears, I realized that they actually do tell people that they cannot be hired. They cannot be hired, and if they are compassionate,
Yeah. You have to be
if they
heartless.
are compassionate, they cannot get hired.
But who would want to? I don't, I think what bothers me about it is that
Yeah,
how can you, and I said to them all the time, how can you sleep at night? See, you're taking our kids, stating that we're alcoholics and we on drugs. But don't you think we realize the people that do understand that you're doing this illegal, you
right,
go home and have a drink and probably do a couple other things as soon or on the job, or when you go home,
right.
because there's nobody in their right mind that will be able to do the things that they're doing to parents and children. When I state children, it's because us as adults, we have to, when we decide to have kids, we know we have to protect them. So
Right,
when these people come and remove our kids, and now we're not there to protect them, it
right,
hurts them more because they're thinking, where's mommy? Because they will put that in your head that the your mom don't want you or that. But You have to be a psychopath. You
Mhm.
have to be narcissist in order to do a job like this and go home and be okay with yourself and go to sleep, you know, and then get up and do it all over again. You have to be something very crazy, special, narcissist. You're not human. It's just it's not logical, you know, for people to do this to families and act like
Right.
there's nothing wrong with it.
Right. What I'm
It's
trying to tell you, baby, is that they're crazy. They're
they're
very, very
crazy.
crazy.
They
Um,
crazy.
when you deal with a demonic person, there's nothing good from that. There's
Nothing
nothing
at all.
positive coming from that. What they do is they give parents crumbs. They give parents false hope.
Right.
Like some parents, they will say, "Oh yeah, we're just gonna detain your child for a week." Blah, blah,
Oh,
blah, blah. Or you have to sign this safety plan, so it's good for what 10 days. Some people say 10 days. Some people say 1 week, and then some people say 30 days, right? And I'm like, okay, what is it exactly, right? So it's all breadcrumbs. You're not gonna get your child after 7 days.
no,
A, B, you're not gonna get your child after 10 days.
no,
C, you're not gonna get your child after 30 days.
no.
Okay, you're not gonna get your child. And if you do your classes, you're not going to get your child. If you do this, you're not going to get your child. It's all lies.
It's all lies.
If
You
you
know, I
don't
just
have, right, if you don't have a juvenile dependency attorney that understands state laws, understand jurisdiction laws, understands how to use strategy to win your case, you're pretty much on your own.
you're on your own
I
because
had a client yesterday who said, Georgette, I hired a family law attorney. I told her 2 months ago, for a 45-minute conversation with her, I said, do not hire a family law attorney. I said, if they're family law specifically, do not hire them. They don't understand juvenile cases. They
right,
don't understand juvenile laws. I said, it's like you're paying for a court appointed attorney. That's exactly what you're doing. So I said to her, I said, might as well stick with your court appointed attorney instead of hiring the family law attorney. She said, no, no, no. He told me he can do it. He's done it before. Well, guess what? Later, her daughter was up for adoption. She calls me months and months later. She tells me that the attorney she hired wanted more money from her. So she gave him more money. So the retainer ended up being in the thousands and thousands and
yeah,
thousands of dollars. First thing he asked her was 2,500. Okay, that made her happy. Then he kept asking her more and more and more. She said, I already gave him like close to 30 something thousand. I said to her, I said, you hired a family law attorney and you kept giving him money thinking he's doing the right thing? I said, what was there a clue?
right,
She said there was a lot of clues. I said, then why did you keep paying him?
right, right, right,
He said,
right,
well, he said he's done it before. I said, how, what was the strategy he wanted to use to win your case? I don't know. That was her answer to me. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. And I actually called that attorney. I said, shame on you.
right.
Shame on you. First of
Well,
all, I asked him, I didn't tell him who I am at first, but I said, I'm looking for blah, blah, blah. I need to speak to the attorney. I told him, I said, I have $100,000 to put down. That's exactly what I said.
right,
I immediately spoke to him and I asked him, I said, have you done juvenile cases before? Well, the truth is, ma'am, not really. But I know how to handle myself in a juvenile case.
money,
Yeah.
greed,
So that's all it is. He did not have the strategy. He didn't know anything. And I called her and I said, what he's done to you is horrible. Because she told me he acted like the court appointed attorney. Literally, him and the court appointed attorney behaved exactly the same way. But the difference is she paid him money,
right.
him pay the court appointed attorney money.
And the court appointed attorneys there, I was looking at one of your segments last night.
Yeah,
Speaking of, they have criminal cases
yeah,
themselves. Like
yeah,
it's no help.
yeah, yeah,
It's a it's a it's a sad and I think with my situation, I never want to say it's I think it's a little deeper than others, because it comes with, sexual abuse and things like that,
Mhm,
and being reported. And it's a very sad situation when you feel like you don't have a voice to speak.
mhm,
And just you getting in contact, well, me contacting you guys and giving me a call back, I appreciate, you listening to me and hearing my story. Like I told you, it's too much to cover in an hour, but
mhm.
I was watching everything and just hearing all of the cases and listening to Mr. Davis, and I got sick to my stomach.
It's disgusting,
It's
baby. It's not
disgusting.
just sickness in your stomach. It's like
It's
you
disgusting.
wanna crawl under a rock and just like wake up from a nightmare.
Yes.
That's
Yeah,
exactly what it is. It's worse than a food poisoning situation.
it's
It's worse. It's
disgusting.
worse. It's worse than anything you could ever process. Stealing a child is worse than losing your mom and dad to death. It's
And
worse than
it's
your mom and
worse.
dad dying. Losing your child is the most
It's
painful experience a mother could ever go
how I
through.
feel
Yeah,
ever. And it's
yeah,
it kind of, that's why I don't think I really can sleep last night, because it's not even one of those situations. You know how
yeah.
you look at something, you say, well, oh, at least I'm not going through it by myself. That's not even, I wouldn't want anyone to go through what I'm going through. And
Right.
the I don't even know how to explain it, just the heartache and the doubts of feeling like I'm not going to be, reunited with my daughter. Remember me telling you that when I gave them the paperwork at the county building, I mean at the CFS
Let's
office,
see if it's off.
the next day they set out to kidnap me. And it's all provable, all facts. Right when I gave the
Mhm.
worker the paperwork to show I couldn't be in two counties at one time. And because they knew that it was all lies, the
They knew.
next day,
Yeah.
them tapping my phone, they heard that my whole family was out of town. So they set up, and I got witnesses to show and prove that they came to kidnap me. Had I not got a ride from my next door neighbor and my
Yeah.
brother's girlfriend didn't come get me, I wouldn't be able to sit here today. All provable, but that's just how they want to silence. They want to
Right.
silence the mother, they want to silence the kids.
Yep.
It's it's sad. It's
It's very sad. It is. And they do that on purpose. And people think, oh my God, you guys, it's deeper than you guys could
it's
ever
deeper.
process.
Yes.
It's deeper. And when I tell people this, they don't understand that it's deeper than you guys can process. And actually, what I recommend is for you guys to watch Nancy Schaefer as well. Senator Nancy Schaefer, she was murdered in 2014, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Her and her husband in her home. When she exposed CPS, when she exposed the corruption in CPS, when she exposed Bill Clinton, when she exposed um, doctors came, testified that they were threatened if they don't do what the social workers tell them to do, right? They will lose their medical license.
Yeah.
People wake up. A senator from Georgia lost her Senate seat when she exposed CPS to the United States and the world.
Yep.
And she lost her seat and then lost her life.
And
You
that,
think our president is to the commander in chief? Do you actually think that our senators, our government, are there for the people? We pay their salary.
yep.
We freaking pay their salary, but they set rules in place to violate our rights.
Yep.
Listen
Every
to
last
what I'm
one of them.
saying. They set rules in place to violate our rights. Okay? It's very important for you guys to understand this. It's not that they're for the people, they're not for the people, they're against the people. If they give um if they give something to the people like food stamps and cash aid to help them in their time of need, there's a motive behind that
Behind
action.
it. Yes,
And
it is.
also, you guys have to understand, when you start collecting Social Security, if you get to that part, if you get to that part, right? If you live that long, the money that you were taking from the state, I mean, from the DPSS, is going to be taken out of your money, from the Social Security money. There's actually a form that you have to sign that once you start collecting Social Security, right, they're going to take that money out. I forgot the name of the form. So you guys have to be very careful. Not
Very
everything that the government offers you is for your
true.
benefit. It's not for your benefit. If you have kids, stay away from them. Stay as far away from them.
Which this was told, before, and I'm glad that you stated, about the
Yeah.
young lady losing her life. And I'm sitting here speaking to everyone that is watching or that's listening to this. This is very, very serious. I am now no longer in my old home because of
Yeah.
the different attempts on my life. And I don't feel comfortable being by myself. I've
Yeah.
watched people try to come into my home. And I think that's the biggest fear because the 17th is my next court date. I fear that I won't make it. But if that's God's plan, then that's what it is.
It's not
Because,
God's plan. You guys keep God out of this one right here. This is
okay,
the devil's plan.
right. Well, I
Now,
say
God,
that to
yeah,
say,
yeah.
or
It's not
I,
God's plan for you to go through this.
well, no, what I'm stating is if this is how it's supposed to end for my children to be free because of the simple fact that the devil is working and I
Oh
know
yeah.
that. So I just say to everyone, understand this isn't it's not a joke. It's a lot of things that we didn't couldn't even cover, Miss Georgette, that me
Yeah.
and you even spoke about. This is really happening. And I live with my, somewhere else now because I'm too afraid to be by myself and because I've watched it. I've watched them.
And
I
people
watched
will
my
not
kids.
believe you.
And they don't believe it.
Yeah.
They don't
Because
believe it.
they're going to make you look like
You're
you're
crazy.
delusional.
Yeah,
Did
but
you
it's the
guys
truth.
know that the cameras, did you guys know that the cameras are, um, oftentimes FBI's will tap into cameras. Um, so you have to be very mindful and very careful. Or county workers, I don't know how they do it, but there's something. I'm still trying to inquire about this. Okay. But I have to bring the show to an end, you guys. It's past the time. I would love to thank you,
Thank
Zinea.
you. Thanks
And
for
you and
having
I,
me.
we're going to talk because I do need the last minute orders of your case. We're going to talk.
Okay. Okay.
And then I love you guys. Thank you so much for joining me. Please don't forget to join me at 1 o'clock p.m. For my
Thanks for
show as
having
well,
me.
Pacific Standard Time. It was my pleasure, baby.
Thanks.
And then tonight at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time as well. Um, I love all of you guys, and I really,
We
the
love you
only
as
thing I can
well.
tell you is don't, thank you, baby. The only thing I can tell you is don't stop fighting for your kids. And you guys, most of you guys know how to get a hold of me. If you don't, you can call the office number, the 888 number, and you can ask for me. But please give me some time to reach out to you because people think that they're the only ones going through this. Yesterday, I had to call 47 people, and 8 hours a day is not enough. So please just be patient and don't think that I can just call you instantly. It doesn't work that way. Okay. Um, just be strong, please, and don't stop fighting for your children, please. And that's all I can
Thank
tell you
you.
for now, you guys. I love all of you. Thank you, Zinnia. I
Thank
really,
you.
really.
Thanks for having me. You have a good day.
You too, baby. Bye bye, you guys.